there, I hear you want to become a faster cuber. Well, welcome to my series, How to Become a Better Cuber, and this will consist of 3 general types of videos for which I've come up with an acronym, BAT, which stands for Breakdowns of Solves, A for Algorithms, and T for Tips, including general tips. And note that I've called this series How to Become a Better Cuber, not How to Become a Faster Cuber, because while that is the goal, while learning new things, it may not make you faster, but it will make you better in terms of efficiency, look ahead, and whatnot. So obviously the goal is to become faster, and I hope that through learning these things, integrating them into your solves, and practicing them over time will make you a faster cuber, but at first it may not make you faster. Like when you learn F2L, you learn by inserting first a corner and then an edge, and then when you learn to insert them at the same time, you're generally a little bit slow at first because there's a huge learning curve because it's not what you're used to, but over time it's definitely worth it to learn F2L and things like that. And generally, the idea of this series comes from a lot of messages that I get on Instagram, Facebook, and a lot of YouTube comments that are like, I average X number of seconds, how do I get down to Y number of seconds? And the problem with this is that there's no hard and fast rule, A, for any cuber in general, and even someone who averages 15 seconds, the reason they average 15 seconds could be due to your F2L, could be due to the last layer, so it depends. There's no one rule for any cuber. There's no blanket statement like, oh, you need to learn more algs, or oh, you need to practice more, blah, blah, blah. And the goal of this series is to cater towards all audiences, so I want to make tips, breakdowns, and introduce algorithms at all levels, whether you average 10, 20 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. And I think the big takeaway from this series is that in cubing, there are no shortcuts. If you average 20 seconds and you want to get down to 10 seconds, you're going to have to go through 19, 18, 17 seconds. Because of this, there's no one thing I can say like, oh, if you average 20 seconds, just learn all of ZBLL and then suddenly you'll average 10 seconds. There's no one rule that makes someone become a much faster cuber. It's the culmination of a lot of tips, a lot of algs, and a lot of practice that makes someone become a faster cuber. And my goal is to introduce tips, algs, and show you some of my solves and break them down, show you the good and bad so you can practice the good and try to avoid the bad parts so that over time you'll become a better cuber and ideally a faster cuber. And as always, some tips I may not think of right away, so if you have an aspect of your solve that you're particularly struggling with, make sure to leave a comment down below and I'll try and think of ways I can make a video for that, because those are some things that I may not notice right away. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak. I have a lot of really cool ideas lined up, so this is the first one. It's a breakdown of a single I got at home a while ago. Of course it's at home because I haven't been to a comp in a while, but it has 10 plus TPS, which means that the look ahead was pretty good. So check it out, and I hope you guys enjoy this series, and I hope it's really helpful to a lot of cubers. Okay, so breakdown 1, the scramble will be above and you can follow along. Firstly, during inspection for this solve, I noticed yellow cross seemed pretty easy because these 2 edges are relative to each other, correct. You just need a D2 to fix these 2. And then the yellow-green edge is also correct with the green center, and the yellow-red edge is here. And I chose to solve it starting with blue in front and yellow on top. I wanted to solve these 2 into their right spots and then orient the bottom layer. And I did this by doing an F prime with my ring finger, which brings the yellow-red edge piece close to where it needs to go. And then R2 prime to bring the yellow-green piece in. F to put the yellow-green edge in. And then R to solve the cross, but it's just oriented incorrectly, so I do a D2 here. And then at this stage, you'll note that you can basically see all the F2L pairs here. There's this one, and this orange-green one. I decide to do the green-red one because it's inserts in the back left, which means that if I solve it, I'll be able to still see the other 3 slots. And I do so by taking the edge out and inserting it in the back. And then next, I note that I could do this red-blue one, this green-orange one, which is a little ugly, or this orange-blue one, which is relatively simple, and I do so by doing a standard insert here. I note that I want to solve this pair, and I'm trying to solve it into the back again, so instead of rotating this way, which would solve it into the front right pair, I do a Y prime. I'll pair up these two, and then insert it in the back. And you'll note this is the only edge left, and I think I used the same out for one of the earlier pairs, but I bring it out, and I'm doing an F prime to push with my thumb, and an F with my thumb, so it's relatively regripless, like this. And then of course this is just a simple insert. And then here, this is just the regular OLL. And then at this point, it's basically a T-perm on the left, but since my lefty T-perm sucks, I decide to do U2, T-perm, and then U2 prime. And I can take you through again, and we'll count the moves. So again, yellow cross, and then the cross is 5 moves, 4 to solve into the incorrect orientation, and then 1 to fix. And then the first F12 pair, which solves in the back, is 7 moves. This pair here, front right, is going to be 8 moves. The pair, which here we're going to move so that it solves into the back left, is 6 moves. And then this last pair in the front here is 7 moves. OLL plus not AUF, sorry, the U that starts it is going to be 12 moves, and PLL including the U2 and AUF is going to be 16 moves, which is a total of 61 moves in 6.04 seconds, which math is 10.099 turns per second. So that's a pretty good solve. I think there are a couple good points to take away from this one. First, you don't always have to solve the cross pieces into the spots they need to go. For example, I didn't start with a D2 to solve these two cross pieces. I purposefully solved them in the correct spot, just incorrect orientation here. And then another thing, if you can, it's generally a good idea to solve pieces into the back. I think I did a little bit something different this time, but solving pieces into the back allows you to Ooh, I got a corner twist. But solving pieces into the back allows you to see spots in front. And then I think those are the big takeaways from this solve. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for another breakdown, algorithm, or tip. And again, this is the first video in a series I'm calling How to Become a Better Cuber, and I hope you guys can benefit, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and subscribe for the latest content.